think we made it to our first episode, Nessa.
1.5. 1A. What was it that you said?
Yeah, this episode 1A.
1A, 1B.
I tried it before, so we're going to take another crack at it. New spot, new situation, new angles.
Yes.
This is the Black to the Future podcast. My name is Walter Ford.
And it's your girl, Miss Nessa.
Just to start off, the purpose of this podcast is pretty much to inform and entertain y'all with anything dealing with society, culture, personal development, mental health, and coming from a black man and woman's perspective.
Yes,
all
sir.
At the same freaking time. So yeah, we appreciate y'all taking the time out to listen to us on our first episode. You know, we here. This is something we've been talking about for a while, and we finally got it together. You know, we've been trying 8 times to get it started, and we made it now. So,
Yes,
thank y'all. To start the show off, we'd like to start off with something we call the wellness check.
Mm-hmm.
NES. Yes. So how are you? How's your wellness check? How's your mental health? Talk to me, Vanessa. Talk to me, Nessa. Excuse me.
I'm doing right. I'm doing all right. This weather, you know, we was talking about it yesterday. You know, as San Diegans, we're like spoiled. So like, if anything under 67 degrees is cold.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy. We
When
walking, and it's legit 65, and this lady was like, "You ain't cold." Like, damn it, ain't even. I had to do the thing where you lick your feet in the air, like it ain't no wind.
Yeah, you know, and then when it's gloomy, your girl over here depressed and stuff, I just want to stay indoors, be cuddled up, Netflix and chilling.
That's the thing. Y'all, yeah, weather depression for y'all is real, fam.
Yes.
I can't imagine that. But other than that, though, you doing good? Like is it up and up?
It's
Being a black
doing
woman
what
in
it's
America?
supposed to do.
Black
Doing
mixed
what it's
woman in
supposed to
America,
do.
excuse me.
Yeah, speaking of mix, I know this is Black to the Future from Black people's perspectives, but I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it says Jalapeno because it is also Asian Pacific Heritage Month. So,
I thought it was AAPI, Pacific Islander.
Pacific Islander. And that's like a whole another story. I know people are like, well, you're Filipino, so what are you? Are you Pacific Islander? Or are you Asian?
Philip Negro.
I'm that.
Philip Negro, yeah.
So I'm representing, but also May is Mental Health Month.
Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
so that's why we checking on each other. So enough about me. How are you doing?
Fire. I'm doing fire. I was struggling for a little minute, so you know I do a lot of my other podcasts is on activism and stuff, and like, and I'm really empathetic. I remember you telling me that you were too.
Yeah.
And like I'm really empathetic, especially for black people's anguish. Mm-hmm. And every time I see something, like it really, I get that weight on my shoulders, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So like, especially since the Buffalo massacre shooting dude, and then all this other kind of little crazy stuff, it was kind of weighing down on me on top of my regular life. But now I'm feeling way better. I like that I have a type of awareness about me. So if I notice myself after a couple of days going in one direction, I like snap it, or I can kind of snap back and force myself to go down a different road and a different momentum.
Yeah.
So now I'm feeling way better. Your boy start working out a little bit more, eating a little better. Like I told you, I'm doing a fast now. I'm fasting off of drinking and smoking. Yeah. So I'm just trying to make my environment where it needs to be to put myself in the best position to win and be positive.
Definitely gotta make sure everything aligning.
So it's getting better, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I was kind of in a little funk, if that's what you want to call it.
Yes.
And I got a couple good news, a couple things of good news. We doing this, so I'm starting to feel a little bit more of myself rather than than me looking at myself making decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Sometimes we look at ourselves like, oh, is this me, or who am I, or am I doing this, or am I doing it? You know? And now I feel like I'm present in all of my decision making now.
That's beautiful.
So it's good now.
Yes.
And we here.
So word of the week. We want to drop a word of the week. And this week is transparency. So we are being transparent as hell. You're always going to get that from us. And quick backstory, even though y'all are getting to know us, we also are getting to know each other as well. Again, quick backstory. We met how many years ago? It was at the Barber Fest.
Yeah, it's 5 now.
Yes, at the Barber.
It was at the Barber Fest?
Yes.
That was before that. Okay.
Yeah. So we met at the Barber Fest, and we were, my boys and I, shout out to the Jig Is Up podcast.
Shout out Jig Is Up.
So we were doing our first live podcast, and then we saw you guys walking around, and we were like, hey.
I didn't know that was your first live one. That's crazy.
That was our first live. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, you guys were walking around, and we were just like, hey, you guys, I think you guys were just starting or thinking about starting a podcast.
We was a couple episodes in or months.
Oh, okay.
In. We was new as fuck. We still wasn't doing activism yet.
Yeah.
It started off with just us talking to rappers and artists.
Oh,
Excuse me, not just rappers. Artists.
Artists.
Creatives. We had singers on there.
Yeah, and then randomly was like, oh, y'all want to be guests on our podcast? Like,
hell yeah. Hell yeah, I want to do that. So if y'all didn't know, I moved here to be the next best comedian in the world. So I also do stand-up comedy. So
yeah, tell them a little bit about yourself. How about that?
Podcast.
So you a comedian, you a podcaster.
So that's when we met, is doing that. I'm from Gary, Indiana. Don't go. No, I'm just it's fire as fuck. We got Michael Jackson, me, and Freddie Gibbs, and bullets. That's about it. A lot of bullets. A lot of niggas playing Call of Duty in regular life.
In regular life.
No. But so Gary is the 6th most dangerous city in the United States. From 92 to 98, it was the homicide capital of the United States. But that's also where Michael Jackson's from. So all the homeless people got rhythm and shit. That nigga didn't make Smooth Criminal for no reason. So growing up in that, one of the main reasons why I really got into mental health and all of that is because my mother at 19 had a nervous breakdown. She, after that, got diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. So she had to take medication for the rest of her life. She was mentally ill for the rest of her life. She didn't even know she could have kids, and she got pregnant at 28. So this is like 9 years of her living with this mental illness. And then, like, she was like a couple months pregnant and went to the doctor. He was like, you're like 2 months pregnant, right? She was like, what the fuck? What? And then, I was born. And my entire life, my mother, for like 2 years, on average about 2 years at a time, she would have to go into, if she didn't take her medicine or if she got too stressed, if she did take her medicine, she would have to go into a mental hospital, a mental institution for like 2 years at a time until they can. So for y'all that don't know, mental illness and stuff is just a chemical imbalance in your brain. So until they can get her the right balance of chemicals in her brain, they couldn't let her out. That was like 2 years at a time. So throughout my entire life, before I was born, even my mother would go in and out of the mental hospital. And so I'm like 5 years old going into like a mental ward, I guess you would call it. Mm-hmm. And, when you like young and you seeing all of these people that are, mentally ill, it gives you a different perspective of life, I guess. Especially as a shorty. And it changes the way you talk. Like, I'll never forget my mama was like, no, don't call me crazy. Everybody call me crazy. People, we just sick. And that just stuck with me for the rest of my life. So that's why I'm into mental health and mental health awareness and mental illness awareness and all of that stuff. Yeah. So I listened to a book called Think and Grow Rich 7 years ago now. Sold all the shit I owned and moved here to be the next best comedian in the world. And bring awareness to different stuff. Yeah. So that's why we're here now. And so what about you? That's my little intro. Kind of how I got here and got to this position.
I mean, I don't have a story like that. But
I brought the energy down. Like, my mama is struggling and I have to eat bread from the garbage.
Oh my gosh, no.
My bad.
Well, no, you're good. So like I said, my name is Miss Nessa. And earlier I shouted out the Jig Is Up podcast. That's actually the first podcast that I was ever a part of.
For how long?
6 years. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that's a decent amount of time of your life right there.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Since then, I've been a part of a few other podcasts. I had my own called the Real Ness podcast.
Real Ness. You notice that Ness part on all of them. Ness.
I did another one with 3 of my friends. Oh, actually, so the Jig Is Up podcast was more so about everyday like pop culture. We did movie reviews, music reviews. I had my own segment that was called the NSA, which was the Nessa service announcement.
I like that.
And I talked about sex and relationships.
I have to bring that back.
Sex and relationships. I'm no expert or guru or nothing, but that was something that I like to talk about.
You're a woman, though, yeah. You know something about it.
Yeah. And then the realness was obviously just keeping it, not that we don't keep it real there, but it was talking more about like everyday life and having dope conversations with my peers. And then the third one was Don't Shoot the Messenger.
Working.
And that one was on dating and relationships, strictly dating and relationships. And then now I'm here with you.
Yay.
With Mr. Walter Ford. And we are talking about mental health. So we're not, how do I say this? I don't want people to be like, oh, this is another mental health podcast. Oh my gosh, they're just starting in May,
like
blah, blah, blah.
Many of them, though.
Yeah, but
It is,
I don't know, but I just feel like maybe not the podcast, but the subject. Everyone's like kind of talking about it.
Yes, it's real trendy right now.
Yes,
it's like a trendy thing right now.
Yeah, so we want to discuss certain things, but we also want to, I don't want to say keep it lighthearted, but we don't want it to be like a very depressing episode. We want to talk about the real stuff
from a funny and informative perspective.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's this. And then, but during the day, Monday through Friday, I work with military children, and I've been doing that for 15 years.
Long ass time.
Yeah. And I actually just got certified this month. A mental, what was it? Hold on, let me go ahead and see. I got my certification.
You stopped studying. I'll pass this.
It is called, let me out, because I don't want to lie to y'all. Why is it not pulling up?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't mean for it to show up right there. Dang.
It's all right.
But yeah, dang, I got my government on there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah, youth mental health first aid. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was like, why is it not popping up? Oh my goodness gracious. But yeah, so now y'all know it's real. I'm certified. Let me put it back to that screen.
Congratulations, Miss Certified.
Thank you. So that was pretty cool. You know, I got selected from my employer's employer. So that was pretty cool. Took the little course and yeah. But yeah, enough about that.
But you're real quick, where are you from? Don't nobody know where you're from and where's all that?
So I was originally born in Brooklyn, New York, but I've been here since I was 6 years old, so it's Dago all day, baby. Okay?
Coast to coast.
Yeah, so this is all I know. I love me some California, some Killer Cali, San Diego. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Work with the youth during the day and podcast at night.
Superhero. That's what you're saying. Superhero during the day and talk shit at night. I like that.
But yeah, I mean, gotta have a balance.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Gotta have a balance. 100%. And I know.
You feel like you're good at balancing?
Definitely not, but I do try. It's actually been one of my, like, coping skills, like, that's got me through these past few years, because I used to have really bad depression. I didn't even know it was depression at first, because back then, I feel like, and when I say back then, I mean, like, 6-7 years ago, it was, I don't want to say it's taboo, but like it's not as openly talked about as it is now.
It wasn't a conversation.
Exactly. I just knew just one day I was like not feeling myself. One day it was me calling out of work to me like just not wanting to do anything. When I knew something was wrong with me was when I didn't want to get up to go to the gym. And at that time, I was a gym rat. So, like, I lived in the gym. And when I say lived, I was there at 5 a.m. because that's what time it opened. If it opened earlier, then I probably would have been there earlier.
God damn.
Yes, and that was Monday through Friday.
That was like they was clocking your ass in.
Right? I lived and breathed the gym. I have multiple social medias, but I have a fitness Instagram where I used to record videos, yoga, all of that stuff. Like, I used to really be doing the thing. I was on it. And then my employer at the time, my boss, she was a behavioral therapist. And one time I was talking to her and I was telling her how I was feeling, and she somewhat diagnosed me with having mild depression and anxiety.
No. I mean, I think it's after a while now, you ain't gotta be clinical to see if a motherfucker depressed. You know, you don't gotta have
That's true.
You know, you can tell if a motherfucker don't want to get up and go to work no more.
Yeah.
Or get out the bed and, you know.
And, you know, it's one thing like going to the gym, you know, okay, I don't feel like getting up today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then someone that's consistently going to the gym, one day turned into 1 week, 1 week turned to a month, and then it just went downhill from there.
It's like negative momentum, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like negative momentum.
Absolutely.
And I'm right there with you because my ass ain't been in the gym either, so I'm right there.
I haven't either. I just ate
this extra 20 pounds.
I just ate some Mexican food right now, but you
both
know what?
Don't trip.
I got the rest of this month to do whatever.
That's what that matters. We getting back.
But I did go to. I went hiking this month and last month. Once a month. I told myself on my birthday that I want to go hiking at least once a month. So I like to go by myself, or I'll go with a friend. And yeah, I just kind of like to decompress and just reflect and do all of that. And I must say, hiking is like sex. It's a lot like sex.
You ain't gotta have a punchline for that. That's just funny as fuck. I do want to hear the punchline, like, because. Because you're sweaty and you want it to be over after it's already.
It's tough. It's rough, but when you finish, you're glad you did it.
And you cut calories, so it's like everybody
definitely a workout.
That's fine. That's a gym, though. That's a gym, like doing things for yourself.
Yeah.
Did something click where you was like, I'm going to do this for myself now? Or did you read something, or did you hear something, or did that come from the back of your brain to
the back of my brain? Well, I mean, I guess because every year around my birthday, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I do it that month once, possibly the next month, if that, and then I forget. So then every year I redo it. Yeah. So, well, no, I don't do resolutions anymore.
Technically, it's a resolution if you starting it and it's not. I guess not. Okay, my bad. It's whatever you want to call it.
Yes. I stopped doing resolutions back then, but
it's the same thing. I'm off.
Yeah, I'm a procrastinator. I'm like,
shit, I'm right there with you. That's why I'm trying to stop smoking and drinking so I can fucking be on time.
But that's good, you know. But that's something that you want to do, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to. Sometimes you gotta take back control of your mind.
Yes.
And you gotta let your mind know who's boss.
Yes, I agree.
So it's not like something I'm gonna stop drinking and smoking forever. I just really need a hard
reset.
What's the word? Yeah, a hard reset. It's like what is the word I'm looking for? Tony Robbins. You gotta take massive action. Mm-hmm. Like you gotta take massive action, like a radical change, and then that's what gets you that momentum to keep it going. Because usually it's the activation energy. And once the activation energy is gone, then you go back to kind of, you're used to going into your own ways because we're focus goes, energy flows. Mm-hmm. So our bodies are used to going back to doing what we're used to doing, even though it's detrimental to us because it takes less energy. Yeah. Because we're so used to doing it than to do new shit and get that new activation energy. Mm-hmm. And, take that mental fortitude, take that mental energy away from you.
I feel it.
So yeah, I'm like, fuck that brain. Fuck that brain. I'm trying to get,
I feel it.
Beat his ass. So let's get into the first segment. Yeah. So we got a little segment we call the Scholastic Black Test.
Yes.
SBTs.
Mm-hmm.
This pretty much is just gonna be. We're gonna be your black translators.
Yes.
We're gonna help you translate Ebonics or jargon from African Americans and put it into proper English.
Yes.
You want me to say the first one? You say the first one. I'll explain.
Yeah. So today's SBT is, if you like it, I love it. What do you think about that?
I think this can go a couple different ways.
Okay.
To me, I pretty much take that as I'm not really paying attention to what you're talking about. But if you enjoying it, I'm going with it so it can make you happy. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong though, but that's what I'm taking out of it. What do you take that as? From the West Coast perspective? That's the Midwest perspective, at least for me.
Okay.
The Gary, like, I'm listening to you. If you like that shit, I love that shit. Just because if you happy, I'm happy, and we going with that. Just so you're happy. Yeah.
Well,
to me, it's happy wife, happy life, happy husband. Don't nobody give a fuck. So it's kind of like in the vein of that.
Well, over here, or from my perspective, what I've always got from it, when black folks say, if you like it, I love it, we indeed hate it. But because you know, we support you, we gonna support you. I'm like, okay, well, if you like it, I love it. I mean, some people could look at it as shade or whatnot, but a lot of times when it's being said, it's like, we really are not fucking with this, but because we fuck with you,
then I'm with it. Then
I'm with it.
Yeah, I'll go with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the same thing. So yeah, if you like it, I love it. Translate it by your black translator. Oh fuck, man. So
some of the main topics we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about mental wellness and mental illness. You know, like we said, this is what our podcast. This is May. So it's like we got to talk about it.
Yeah, especially with the Buffalo thing.
Yes.
So like it's a thing.
For sure. We're going to obviously talk about black mental health and then black people societal differences. So go on ahead and take it away with the first topic.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Do you want to we watched clip? You played this clip before and it was really good talking about how we the fact that we use mental illness to give people a pass for trash behavior or detrimental behavior. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like misconstrued. It's almost like a gray area. So like, especially now, people are like, well, I have this. Mm-hmm. So that gives me an excuse to punch you in the face. When in reality, it don't. Especially if you have the aptitude to know that you're doing it and you have the, you know what I'm saying? So, So that's kind of, it's interesting to me because, especially because my mother, when she had bipolar schizophrenia, and she explained to me like, I remember everything, I just couldn't control myself, which was really weird to me. It's really scary. Yeah. So she would be like a different person, or like be like I could tell when she snapped, she just wouldn't be herself. She'd be like, yeah, you know, I love you, but I also hate you because you're Satan. I was like, oh damn, all right. And then she'd be like, I'm gonna go clean the tub, and then she'll spray the tub with Raid, like the bug killer or something like that. Like, it'd be something like she'll do regular stuff, but it'll be off kilter. Mm-hmm. And I think that is different than people being like, well, I'm ADHD, so I'm just punch bitches in the face because they say the wrong word to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not knocking. It's different. Is what I'm saying. Like it's levels to it. Yeah. So you want to play that video?
Yeah. So on Instagram, on IG, stumbled across this clip, and I'm gonna play it for you guys because this was some real stuff right here.
Yeah. No, it's really good. It's something I think we need to talk about in our culture, especially our generation.
Definitely.
With the collective consciousness changing right now, I think our generation has a huge, like every 20 years or so, 10 or 20 years. And I think we're in that right now. Because if you think about it, the 80s was different. The 90s was kind of chill. Then the 2000s kind of turned up. Mm-hmm. Then it was kind of, it was still turned up in the 2010s. But now, George Floyd pandemic is kind of revamped. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? 70s was turned up too, but you notice it was like 60s was like was Martin Luther King, everything. And then it was 70s was kind of whatever. 80s was super turned up. 2000s was super turned up. And I was like, yeah. My bad for cutting you off.
No, you're good. Okay, so here is the video.
Is use mental illness as an excuse for trash behavior. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we can't talk about wellness without talking about illness. And unfortunately, it's almost a trend now where people are using illness to pardon trash behavior. What is trash behavior? Lying, cheating, stealing, gaslighting, playing with people's hearts. Oh yeah, and heading to a supermarket to target black people. The best thing about today is also the worst thing about today. Everybody got a platform. They live streamed that supermarket massacre. And because people can paint any picture they want, the internet is filled with delusions of grandeur and lies. You cannot help if your brain is wired differently chemically or either from trauma. As a child, but as an adult, it is your responsibility to do the work to become better. Don't use the illness to excuse the behavior. Address the behavior to heal the illness. Accountability. That's how we get to wellness.
Accountability. That's my favorite part.
Yes, and that was some real. He was spitting. He said, "Don't use the illness to excuse the behavior. Address the behavior to heal the illness."
That's fire. That's a nugget right there.
Yeah.
How'd that make you feel?
That spoke to me because I do believe that a lot of times, we go through things that we can't quite explain or things that are not in our control. But I do believe that some people tend to justify their behavior because they use it, like you said, as an excuse to, oh, this is why I did it. So, for example, I don't know if you guys watched it already. I don't know if you watched it or anybody. If you haven't, this is a spoiler alert. The movie or the show, whatever, Candy on Hulu.
No, I ain't watched it yet.
Basically, I guess it was based on a true story. It was only 5 episodes. It's actually pretty interesting.
I ain't never heard of it, so I don't know what I think I heard somebody say Candy, but I don't know what it is.
So basically, it was white folks, but sorry, y'all. But basically, it was a trial going on about how somebody killed. I'm trying to say it without
say that shit in your regular talking voice, man. Come on. What you talking about?
Okay, basically,
somebody got murked.
I just suck at explaining things. Like everyone knows that about me, so I'm like kind of trying to find the words. So basically, it has like flashbacks and all this stuff where this woman, it's part of a small town, small community. So everybody's tight-knit, so everybody pretty much knew each other. Yeah. Long story short, a woman sleeps with her, I guess you could say, friend's husband, and then she later on kills her. But we don't find out how it happened. But in the beginning of the show, it shows like somebody was killed. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody got murked, but you don't know who it was and how it happened and whatever. Yeah.
So but at the end,
she said, "This dick ain't free. It's not fair."
Yeah. Well, she killed. So the girl that it's based on was the one who committed the murder.
Yeah, of course.
And it was the woman's man that she slept with, so she killed his wife.
Yep.
And basically, there were like when the police were trying to get everything together, that was their not biggest fear, but they were like, they better not turn this into a self-defense case, which is the route she went to. And how she did that was they went to see I think he was like a hypnotist.
Yeah, he was a hypnotist.
Yeah, so
make you like you are getting sleepy.
Yeah,
tell me the truth.
So basically, what happens was, I guess when she was younger, her mother like shushed her, and it triggered her because I guess that's what the girl did, and she like blacked out and she murked this motherfucker with an axe 41 times.
Damn.
41 times.
Yeah, she was real. Yeah.
So she was like, because like I said, they don't show it till like towards the end, like one of the later episodes. Yeah. But they were basically trying to excuse her for like, oh, well, that wasn't her that did it.
She got triggered.
So it was like kind of like an outer body experience. Yeah. And this bitch walked out flying colors.
She got off from the multiple personality disorder. She got off. Yeah, that's some white people shit.
Yes. Yeah. And this was taken obviously back in the day too, but also white. Yeah, I mean, they were all white, but
but still though, that was before like forensic science is as advanced as it is.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah,
though.
and it's based on a true story.
She got a good ass lawyer.
Yeah, and that's what everyone said. But the funny thing is, that lawyer went to jail. Like during the case, like he kept getting stuff tacked onto him. But the judge was like, we're gonna postpone that so you can finish this case, but then you got to take your ass to jail.
What are you going to jail for?
It was random stuff. Like he would like speak out of turn, and he just like tacking. Like the judge didn't like him.
He just got objections. Okay.
Yeah.
He was wilding out in the courtroom.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But it's crazy how that happens in real life,
Hell yeah. I mean, well, yeah, it happened. Yeah. And it's crazy that's the first time I've seen somebody with a mental illness be like, oh, well, you crazy, so you gotta, other than like mass murderers and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people that's really like out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And in that clip, he was talking about different types of trash behaviors, which he listed lying, cheating, stealing, gaslighting, playing with someone's heart, playing with their emotions and stuff. And, a lot of times people justify it because they think like, oh, well, I was triggered or I was traumatized. Not to say that can't happen, but it's like, when you're a child, you don't have control of certain situations. Yes, your environment. But I feel like as adults, we have, especially if it's one thing to not be aware of it, but once you become aware, and if you really care about people and, family and friends, and number one, care about yourself.
That's what it comes down to.
You gotta do something to heal yourself as much as you can.
And it's hard, and that's such a crazy conversation because it's like, where's the line?
Yeah.
Where's the line of consciously being aware of your negative impact?
Yeah.
And then not being aware and it's just second nature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like that's the crazy part where it's kind of hard to, where it gets gray. It's like a gray area. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think especially so, at least in my personal life, I know for a fact because I didn't have my mother around, or let me say it like this, because she, every 2-3 years she would have to go to a mental hospital. I used to cry myself to sleep at night as a kid. Like, because I felt helpless or hopeless, or like I couldn't fix her or help her or nothing like that. So when I became an adult, like a young adult, fucking adult, I was a teenager. Yeah, I always wanted women around all the time. I was always around girls or whatever, and it was because I missed my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I never
female
felt
presence.
like I could. Yeah, exactly. Like I missed my mama, so I used other women, I guess, to fill that void, which obviously never filled it. And I didn't realize that till I became an adult. But it wasn't even adult. It was like 20. Shit, I'm 29, finna be 30 now. It was like 24, 25. You know what I'm saying? So it was like halfway into 20s. So it's like, it's weird. It's hard to, I guess, because some people never figure it out, if that makes sense. And it's about having the empathy for the people that are trying and the people that can't, or are struggling to overcome.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
I got an answer.
Do you though? What do you think about narcissists? Would you consider that some sort of mental illness?
I never really had a proper definition of narcissism, if I could be honest.
Let's look it up.
Yeah. But do I think that's a mental illness? No. I think that you can have a mental illness and then narcissism could be an after effect of it. But I mean, I'm not, I ain't no doctor or scientist or nothing like that. But I just think from my definition, what I understand, I think that being self-centered is a second, is an after effect. Like if you got like schizophrenia or something, like if you know what I'm saying, you think somebody coming after you or whatever, then you could be narcissist. Because it's like, oh shit, this is on me and they coming for me and it's about me and they stopping me. But I don't think if you're just really self-centered, like a narcissist, that's like a mental what is it that I was talking about early? Like a chemical imbalance in your brain. But I'm not a doctor, so I don't know for sure.
Well, mental disorder, aka mental illness, is a wide range of conditions that affect mood, thinking, and behavior. A narcissist is when personality qualities include thinking very, very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. So, I personally, I'm so chill. I'm a really chill person.
That means you're attracted to narcissists then.
No, that's a negative.
I mean, subconsciously, you know how we attract the opposites. Like, oh, this shit is not what I'm doing.
I find myself like I cannot stand narcissists. Like I cannot. Like I've dealt with some. I believe my sister's a narcissist. So like, and it's like just the fact that like you cannot argue with a narcissist because they believe in their minds,
in their world,
that they are telling the truth at all times, that they're inferior to others. And how do you...
After a while, it becomes like they believe their own reality. So like,
and it's scary. And they gaslight a lot. They make you feel,
My bad for cutting you off. I was going to ask you if you can give me a definition of gaslighting.
Yeah, sure.
What is your definition of gaslighting?
Basically, to me, I feel like gaslight is when you gaslight someone, it's you making them. It's kind of like it's a manipulative thing where you kind of make them feel like they're crazy because, like, if you're just like, well, if you accuse them of something and they're just like, no, and it makes you kind of second guess, like, well.
Yeah. So it's like you misleading somebody with the purpose of making them seem incorrect.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a purposeful misleading.
Yes.
Like almost,
It says gaslighting is I can't read for shit, COLLOQUIALISM, colloquialism, whatever. I don't know.
Colloquialism.
Yeah. That. Loosely defined as making someone question their own reality. This originated from 1944 film Gaslight, the term used infrequently in media until the mid-2010s, in which its usage became pre-relevant.
Damn, somebody created that word from a movie? That's crazy. That's like
that is crazy. That's real, yeah.
Like bootylicious. Like,
but yeah, it causes, someone to question their own reality, and that's a scary thing to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Especially when you're good at acting.
Yeah.
That's fucking,
yeah.
What's that dude that all the women was trying to fuck that was killing them? Tony Dungy? No, what's his name?
My gosh.
Tony Dungy is
Bundy.
Ted Bundy, yeah. Tony Dungy is a coach for the NFL.
Ted Bundy. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Ted Bundy.
But yeah, it's crazy that people can have that type of power over you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
do you think Ted Bundy had a mental illness though?
Yeah. I feel like he did.
Yeah.
And obviously I know narcissism is not considered clinically like that. But the reason why I'm saying is just the fact that they can have the ability to take over someone's mind and question themselves when I know I seen you down the street with Shirley and you're like, but did you see me? Because I was I'm like, well, did I see him?
It's almost like bending somebody's truth with believing your truth so much that you bend somebody else's.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy.
It is.
So but to answer your question, I don't think that's a mental illness. That is in its own.
Yeah.
I think it comes accompanied with something.
I feel
it. Does all black mental health matter? Do you think some people need to be excluded from this? Think that it's like I don't know, like the narcissism thing? You think that's like it's certain stuff that can be like, you just a shitty person. And then it's like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a differentiator. Like every shitty person ain't mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are just just shitty persons, shitty people, man.
No, I feel like, that's a good question because I know a lot of times when we do talk about mental health, obviously I could only speak for myself. I could speak for some women.
That's the best experience. Is your personal one.
I could speak for some women, not all women. I definitely can't speak for males, but you know, I do believe that when people think about, you know, making sure that our well-being is okay, the black males in general, but black males especially, are put on the back burner because as males, you guys are look to be strong. You guys aren't supposed to have emotions. Granted, this is not obviously coming from me, but this is what society. Yes, at least in American society. Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's unfortunate, but you're a black male, so you can speak for some of the black males or yourself. Yeah, let's just say.
Yeah, no, 100%, and it's real, and I feel like it's half a generational thing, because I think the generation before us was the turning point before emotions were allowed, just because of the way the world worked. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like pre-technology, you know, current technology, you had to go in a coal mine, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, them niggas was like, it was on an assembly line, and unless you owned the business, unless you was in the top 1%, most men, and then like a lot of people are immigrants too, but like most men, you just didn't have the bandwidth, I think, to show emotion or compassion because the world was so cold or the world was so rough at the time. Yeah. Especially for black men. I'm speaking for mostly black men. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially black folk, because like you just didn't. If you weren't subservient or super strong, then you subservient to white people, or super strong just for your family and for your culture and for your community, then you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say you were killed, but you was put to the wayside. Like, you weren't a leader, you know what I'm saying? You, especially, you know, because we do everything for reproductive to, you know, we all doing it so we can look attractive to the whatever, but you weren't an attractive man, and you weren't seen as though you had the best genes to move the offspring forward. Yeah. If you didn't have a certain coldness to you. And I think that, you know, the niggas in the 40s and 30s had to, whereas in the 2000s we don't have to. And the generation between us is where we're having that huge discrepancy. Yeah. And right now, all the black men are living the aftermath of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like, it's weird. It's like, you gotta be hard, but then it's also like, these men are soft as fuck. Yeah. But then it's also like, you need to cry more because you need to get your emotions out. But then it's also like, these men emotional as fuck. Yeah. So it's like a weird tango.
Yeah, especially with the whole alpha, beta, like.
Yeah, that's a thing now. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a thing. Niggas wasn't calling themselves beta 20 years ago, 10. It was just not as masculine men. You know what I'm saying? It was just niggas that wasn't as aggressive. Yeah, you know?
That's true.
And so I think right now, what was the first question? How do we get to that? I got on a tangent because I was feeling that shit.
Do we feel that black males are excluded when we speak about mental
mattering? Yes, I think black men are excluded. I think collectively it's starting to change, but I think that to the extent, yeah. And I was reading and watching something, and this is the reason why. Every single time a black man gets emotional, that's a famous or a celebrity, they become a meme. How many white people crying memes have you seen? Jordan. What was the one before Jordan? The other nigga, Will Smith. He just slapped the nigga too. So Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Tyrese.
Oh, yeah. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, every time a black man shows emotion or gets something like that, you become a meme, or it becomes ridicule. It becomes like a joke. Which, I ain't gonna lie, them bitches was funny. That was funny. Like,
and you being a comedian, you can, like, you know.
I can't argue that Tyrese shit was funny. Like, I mean, I guess I understand it, but like, you hold your phone up and you gotta press record when you cry. And then you gotta keep crying, and then you gotta press post. So that's the fun. So to me, that's the part is funny, but yeah. So like, it's still not the norm. And for black men,
he was having a transparent moment. He was,
and I can't knock that. That don't mean it ain't funny though. Because you gotta hit post. Like if somebody else recording you crying, and I'm like, I feel you, like in the regular moment, but you gotta be like, anyway. I think it's moving forward though.
Yeah,
especially with stuff like what we're doing. Like I think a podcast like this wouldn't even have been thought of 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think the poll is moving. I do think the poll is moving, but I don't think that black men have that leeway yet, unfortunately. And if we do take that route, we're not seen equally, or you know what I'm saying? You're seen less, I don't want to say attractive. I'm trying to use a better word than that. Less, I don't know. You're not seen in the same light.
Yeah.
As men that seem like they don't cry. Although all niggas cry. Hood niggas cry. I know hood niggas that cry all the time.
I agree.
Let's go to the next one.
Different ways black people are treated in everyday society and the mental effect that it has.
Yeah. How do you feel? I was watching, hearing something, and it was like, we just watched a dude kill 10 people like a video game. We just saw this Roe versus Wade shit. We just saw, I mean, and that's more so for women, but you know, I mean, I got a daughter still, so that still fuck with me too.
Yeah.
But do you think that seeing those things traumatizes us subconsciously?
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Just like how consistent it is.
How consistent it is. How it seems like some people are becoming desensitized.
I know what you meant.
Desensitized.
Desynthesize.
That, yeah, see, I guess certain words, but I know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, and
that's what you're trying to say.
And it's unfortunate, you know, and I know people are tired of hearing, you know, the black card versus the white card, but it's like
they tired of hearing it. Now imagine how we feel living it.
Right.
They've been making songs. I was thinking, my bad for cutting you off.
No, you're
but
good.
They've been making songs about how bogus the police is for like 100 years. It's like 100 years of niggas singing about how bogus the shit is. And they like, this shit don't exist. You ain't lying, or this is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same songs with different beats. My bad.
No, you're good. I mean, it's just like even, I mean, I know that we'll go back to that subject as far as the killing, but even the recent one, I know, I'm sure you've seen it because I seen it on like all my group chats where that former football player was at the airport.
Oh, just now? Yeah.
He got slapped, but he got charged, and the other guy, he got fired from his job, but nothing else happened. And he was the one that provoked it. You know, and it's like, it was on camera. And he even said, he's like, you seen that? And then he like acted as self-defense. So even with videos and screenshots and pictures and whatever, it's like they just don't care no more. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like we all had an idea, or at least I did. Let me say it like this. You had an idea that if it was out in the open, that it would at least still bring justice, and it just don't do nothing but just give you a front row seat.
Yeah.
Instead. I mean, now, yeah. I mean, not saying it doesn't. It helps tremendously because it's probably. Imagine before cameras, all the shit that was happening.
I don't even
you know
want
what I'm saying?
to. Like,
that's so
just
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And like, even when we had flip phones, like if we had cameras, they wouldn't recording shit though.
Yeah.
Your Razor didn't have that good quality. That shit was pixeled in a motherfucker.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's crazy, and I think that it has a huge effect on us, and me, and I can tell you this from a personal experience. Once I woke up, and I don't like to say that because nigga, you notice everything black people create, they give it a negative connotation. Everything that we've ever created, they make it negative.
For example,
Black Lives Matter.
Yep, they turn into All Lives Matter.
Being woke, being progressive, black people vote Democrat or left, so that leftist is a thing. I mean, but anything that we with rap music, but it's the most popular music in the world.
Right?
Anything. So
I'm telling you, I work in Coronado, and them kids, one of my kids, obviously.
You see that video of that girl singing the whole little baby?
Yes. Word for word. Word for fucking word. Didn't even, like, flinch. So one of my kids, I call him my son, but he's white. But he be like, hey, Miss Nessa, did you hear? Like, when the baby came out, he was like, oh, did you hear the baby album? I'm like, no, he came out with the album. Like,
how you know?
Like, yeah. So he be on it. He was like, oh, did you hear the new Pusha T? We had what is called Teen Night every first and third Fridays. So it's where the teens get to hang out and they're not like running the streets and stuff. But he came in, he was just like, he's like, oh, did you listen to the new Kendrick yet? I'm like, boy, like he knows more about this shit than I do. I'm like, well, yes, I did.
What do you think about it?
Child. And he over here bumping it. And then, like, so I allow the teens to be teens and, respect their space. So, I let them listen to what they want to listen to as long as they're respectful towards each other. And as long as, during the actual hours where the other kids are, just don't turn out, whatever. Just be respectful, be mindful.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be out here listening to the ass booty, butt cheek clapping next to the 5-year-old.
So he got a song playing and I was just like, okay, this is fine. And we're doing whatever, eating pizza. Then he gonna put it, oh wait, you said you haven't heard? You heard all of the Kendrick, right?
Oh, 30 times.
What's the song where he's fighting with?
We Cry Together.
Why was he playing that?
Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch.
I looked and I was like,
fuck you, bitch.
I looked at him and he was just like, what? I'm like, turn that off. Like, I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Mind you, like, granted, he's white, but we have white folks. All the kids was white, so it's like, okay. Like, and granted, they do listen to rap, but I'm like, okay, this is, I let y'all listen to certain stuff, but this is a little too inappropriate, even for my liking. I love my job. Don't get me fired
for Kendrick Lamar.
So I just thought that was hilarious.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That is funny as fuck. Fuck you, bitch.
And he's sitting there like nothing, like I'm like, you know damn well.
Hey, they're cursing it. Give me your fucking keys.
Man, I cannot.
That's funny as hell. And it's crazy, man. It's interesting because like especially Kendrick, to me, a lot of those songs, a lot of the album is really made for black folk.
Yeah.
And like, you ain't never heard the most popular rapper on earth talking about going to therapy and having daddy issues.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. Shout out to Kendrick, by the way. But I mean, I feel like that album, just like with, I don't know if you in the Big Sean. Detroit 2. He said Detroit 2 was a self-help book in an album. He said I literally tried to make a self-help book in an album.
Wow.
And I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was the same thing. And it's crazy because I think that's one of the positive ways that society is helping our mental health. You know what I'm saying? But on the opposite end, though, I do think that watching... I know what I was going to say. I got on a tangent. When I found out what the world really was, I think because I grew up with so much negativity that I only allowed myself to see positivity and like be positive. Like, so I'm like a real energetic person. I'm like, what's up, y'all? We finna have a good time. Like, if I'm in a room, we all having a good time in the room. Like, I make sure everybody good. And I forgot what I was gonna say. I got on the whole tangent. What was I just talking about before that?
You were talking about how like you've been around a lot of negatives, so you try to.
Yeah, and I had a whole subject at the end, and I forgot that fast because I got sleepy.
Hey, it is kind of late. We've been on this for an hour.
Yeah. Anyway, damn, I really lost that train of thought. I'm glad I stopped smoking. Damn. Anyway, it don't matter. We'll come back to it. But I think that our regular lives are affected by the different shit you see every day. So like, as a black man, I walk around, I always see the police. Even before they see me, like I just always see them. Like I just see, it's like a sense. It's just like a beep. And I think every black person does this thing where you subconsciously, or at least from the hood, you make sure your back gets straight. You look around, make sure everything in order. If you see the police around, like, all right, hold on, fam, hold on, get normal real quick. Like, it's like a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
And I think that seeing us deal with the police so much that it's almost like internalized. It's like internalized trauma. Same thing with, I don't know, any type of authority. You know, I think like when school, like I wasn't bad in school, but you know, a lot of kids are just when they see some authority. Yeah. And it starts because, you know, they see fuck the police at a young age. And like, you know, speaking from my experience in a very impoverished area. But, you know, every day walking, I see somebody, this is every day right now, I see somebody see me and then cross the street, so they got to walk next to me. So I think that for a while that kind of bothered me because I was trying to be a comedian. So like in my brain, I'm like, I'm trying to be an entertainer and I want to connect with as many people as possible, but I can't connect with you because you don't even fuck with me before you even know me because I'm black. And that was hard to swallow in itself. Yeah. And I had to flip it on itself and turn it to a way of a term of empowerment. Like, oh man, they know I'm too powerful, so they scared of what I'm capable of. So they gotta fucking, you know. But if you don't have that switch, like I do, well, I had to prime myself to turn it into something positive or empowerment, then that eats away at you. Because it's like, what am I? Why don't they fuck with me? Or do I look dirty? Or am I stink? Or are they scared of me? Am I coming off threatening? Like every day I try my best to look as least threatening as possible every day, which is crazy to me to even think that. That's a thought that I gotta have to not. I gotta change the way I move to make you not seem afraid. Yeah. And it wears on you. It wears on you. I do gotta say that. Yeah. But there are different outlets that I've gotten and I've learned to kind of, I guess, move past that. Like I said, put it on its head, look at it as a form of empowerment. And then I got into Buddhism. I'm not really a Buddhist, but I like the principles. Yeah. And one of them is, I think this is what helped me a lot and helped me get past a lot of my mental health blocks, especially dealing with other people, which is to, I forgot the way Buddha says it, but allow humans to be human. So every person are eyes, are viewers, as well as projectors. So you and me will both look at this computer, but we'll never see the same thing because behind your eyes is a movie or like a script being played, or like for everything that you see has its own definition. Yeah. So, and everybody has their own world. So we're all in our own world, in our own whatever. Yeah. And giving people the benefit of the doubt to be human takes the pressure off of you trying to turn them into whatever you think they should be. Yeah. And then it gives you the power to be present within yourself and realize you can only control what you can control. Yeah. And that gives you way less strength and way more control over your situation or your environment and your life when you feel like you're taking back the reins. Yeah. If that makes sense. That was a long tangent. So yeah. No, that's real, and it's funny you say that, and we could talk about this more on another episode. But just the fact that like, just even having these conversations, and you know, like I know I was talking to someone one time, and he had made a comment, and I was like,
I kind of was just like, okay, just kept it to myself. And then he was just like, well, did I offend you? Like, okay, now you in your feelings or whatever. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter if I am or not. I was like, what you said was valid to you. You know, you were speaking your truth and that's how you felt. Instead of trying to spare my feelings, you're just like, this is how I feel. I can't get mad at you for that, but I also have the right to feel the way I feel, just like you have the right to feel the way you feel. And I feel like some people, when I say certain things like that, they just want to, it's like you want to be mad, but you're just like, you're absolutely right, you know?
Exactly. I'm going to think how I am, but it's not going to affect you. So I can't live how I live my regular life. And because
it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like he was just like on me like,
hang
you
niggas,
know.
But yeah. You just say niggas is late. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You're so silly. But I do believe, you know, for the most part, and that's one of my like best things and worst things about me is I'm a very understanding person. And the reason why I say it can be considered a bad thing is because sometimes I'm a little too understanding to the point where like you could fuck me over and I could be like, okay, not that what you did was right, not justifying anything, but I could see why you did that and you thought that, you know what I mean? Like I'm just very over analytical.
You give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, all the time. Yeah. So it's funny when you were saying that and I was like, that sounds like me.
Allowing people to be human.
So it's interesting because I don't read Buddhism. So it's interesting that
it's a human thing.
Yeah.
It's just a human thing, subconscious thing. They just put words to it.
Yeah.
They just put a definition to it.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You want to go to our next segment before we get up out of here?
Yeah. So, really quick, my what is it called? Segment. Yeah, you said segment. It's called Feminist. Not to be confused with feminist, but feminist, where it's just basically like a quick little thing about me. So today's is called I Am Not My Hair.
I love that.
And I say that because
3 snaps of formation.
But it might not be what you think it is. So I know some people, they're just like, they'll go through things or like, you know, and a lot of times when women get cancer, or not just women, but people in general get cancer, they might like shave it off and then, or alopecia. Got famous now. Yeah. They'll shave it off and they'll have people support them or whatever. And they're like, it's just hair. And again, that's where I'm like, that's valid. But what you value or don't think is a big deal could be to somebody else. So for somebody to be like, it's just hair, if you're saying it to yourself, it's okay, but not to say it to others, I feel, is very insensitive. Me, for example, I got COVID back in the end of September, beginning of October. I got COVID. A few months later in December, I noticed my hair was like shedding like crazy. Like it was to the point where I, like every single wash day, I would cry. Because chunks and chunks of my hair is falling out. And even now, like, you know, my hair looks short. People are like, oh, did you cut your hair? And I'm like, no, like I lost my hair, you know? And it's like, so it was a lot. And like, thank goodness for masks at the time, because I mean, well, we still wear a mask at work, but by choice, we don't have to wear it. But like I literally would just like cry and then go to work and be like, hey, just like with the adults and the kids, like,
but nobody can see your face because you was in that
exactly. And it was very, very devastating for me because like, it's been I think it's going on, September will be 10 years for me, where I did my Love Thyself project and, you know, my natural hair. I mean, I've always worn natural hair, but I used to straighten my hair all the time up until 10 years ago. Now it's the opposite. Like I wear my hair curly all the time and I only straighten it like once or twice a year. So, you know, it took a while for me to like embrace and love my curls. And that's why I called it my Love Thyself project, because I did a no heat challenge for a month and that month turned into 10 years.
Rest of your life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like I really, before wearing my curls, when I would wash my hair, like I couldn't wear it past 2-3 days. I would look in the mirror and literally tell myself that I was ugly. And I would really feel that way. So then I'll go back and straighten it.
Exactly.
So now that it's the opposite, I'll straighten my hair and I'm like, it's max a week. After that, I'm like, I miss my curls, you know, but then I spent a lot of money to, you know, curl it too. So I'm going to wear it, you know, I'll give it at least a week, maybe a week and a half. But, you know, so going back to that, when I lost my hair, when I was losing my hair and I was balding at like the side, mind you, like my baby hairs is popping. Like, I be trying to, like, but the thing is, I just started doing it a couple years ago, and I just started getting, like, semi-good at it. Mm-hmm. And it went from, I was doing it because I wanted to now it's like, I have to do it, because if I didn't, you could see the balding. And it made me very self-conscious. And then, although some people be like, oh, it's just hair, but yes, it's my hair.
Exactly. So and it's also your image of yourself.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah, it's your image
exactly.
of yourself.
So that was my thing, just try not to be so insensitive. And I'm all for women that's like bald. And there are some girls that be rocking that shit. Like,
I was just, the last young lady I was courting was bald headed. She was she wore the wigs too though. But she sported the bald too. I liked it.
Can do it. But some people they can.
It looked good though.
Yeah. I know Saweetie, she recently went bald. And when I say bald, it wasn't bald, but she got really short. Yeah, she cut her hair real short. It was on some Amber Rose type shit.
Damn.
And she looked good as fuck.
Well, yeah, she looked good before.
Yeah, so her Amber Rose, I know B. Simone had cut her hair like, it's not as short as theirs, but but I'm just like, they're just people like they can just rock that shit, like Halle Berry. Like, I don't know, like, so I could never say that I wouldn't look good on it, but I personally don't care to find out.
Think that you
I don't care to find out. I love my curls, so, but no shade to anybody that does that, like, to me that is empowerful. Is that even a fucking word? But that it's empowering, excuse me, that's the term I was looking for. But yeah, so we just gotta be careful with our words and all that, but that's pretty much it.
Bam, I like that. You are not your her.
You are not your her.
You're not your her. In closing, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna shout out everybody that's watching. Thank y'all.
Yes.
I do want to leave us with a book. I always got a book recommendation. I want to leave us with a good one. It's my favorite author is Malcolm Gladwell. His one of the books that changed my life is called The Outliers. Essentially The Outliers. It's the first book I've read that has the 10,000 hour rule in it, where if you're a human, you do anything on average for 10,000 hours, you become elite or master level. And that's when you can do it to where it's second nature. And when you can do things that's second nature, you don't have to think about it consciously. Then that's when you add your creativity to it, and that's when you get to the next level. And as far as the mental health aspect, I think it just helped me understand that it gave an understanding that people got into positions that they are by a multitude of variables. You're where you are because of the time you were born, the place you were born, the parents you have, the choices you have within the experience that you have, the environment, the day and age, the decade, your sex, gender, religion, you know what I'm saying? So all of those, if Bill Gates was born in one city to the west, he wouldn't be Bill Gates because he wouldn't have went to the school. His mama wouldn't have knew the person that got him into college. He wouldn't have been that old to get into the college he went to. Because he was that old, because of the age he was at, computers were so old. When he was in college, he found a way to crack the code so you only got like 20 hours a week on the computer. He got unlimited. So he was there every day for 2-3 years. So he was like ahead of the game. But anyway, what I'm saying is everything in your life is a culmination of all the things that have happened to you and what you've done with the things that have happened to you. So you still got time. You can still change it. And once I realized that, I was like, oh shit, nigga, my wife ain't over there.
You said, sorry to cut you off, you said 10,000 hours?
10,000
How long is that roughly?
5 to 7 years. It's like 5 years, 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day. Oh. But it's about, I lied to you. No, yeah, that's it. If you do 40 hours a week, yeah. 8 hours a day, 5 times a week. 40 hours a week is about 5 years.
On a smaller scale,
yeah.
21 days. It takes 21 days to develop a habit or something. I heard in the past.
I heard
is that a myth?
I heard that, but then I heard that it's different, so I don't know.
Oh.
But and then this, I don't know.
See, the times have changed. That was the
I
last
know.
thing that I heard about practicing something.
And I heard this dude say this what made sense. He was like, if you smoke a cigarette for 10 years, you're not going to quit smoking in 3 weeks. So I was like, well, that fucking makes sense. So I can kind of see that.
I mean, some people do stuff.
Yeah, you can cold turkey. But cold turkey in 3 weeks, 2 different things, though. So,
that's true.
You know,
that's
so.
True.
But yeah, so that's why I love the Outliers. And on a quote to get out of here, I gotta do, when we first did our first episode, it was right when we were doing the hearing for the Supreme Court Justice. So I'm gonna just quote it again. Be open to new ideas and experiences, because you'll never know when someone else will have an interesting thought, or when a new door will open to take you on the journey of your dreams. That is Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. I think that's episode 1. That's how we did it.
Shout out to you. Shout out to 1835 Studios.
Yeah, 1835
Shout out
Studios.
to everybody that is going to support us, speaking it into existence.
We're gonna be coming with y'all. Obviously, this first episode, we're gonna get a little more organized, get it a little more in tune and aligned. Other than that, though, we appreciate y'all. This has been the Black to the Future podcast. Make sure y'all bless. Arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor, and make sure the dude that did the Buffalo Murder Massacre get put under the jail.
Yes, for real.
Woo! We love y'all. Y'all stay blessed. Yeah.